Welcome back, golfers. Today we're going to work on an important aspect of the game, and that is pitching. Stay tuned. Welcome back, golfers. We're back out here at beautiful Dairy Creek Golf Course, and we're going to work on pitching today. So pitching all starts with what are you given with your lie, what are you given with the shot in front of you, and your intentions on how to play that shot. So once you come up with a plan, you can use a variety of clubs to hit different pitch shots. Could be a 9-iron, could be a 6-degree wedge, could be a gap wedge or a pitching wedge. So it doesn't really matter which club you use because you can still make a pitching motion with it. But we need to make a plan on what kind of trajectory we want, what kind of spin we want when it lands, usually determined by where the pin placement is on the green, whether it's front or if it's back. That'll determine kind of what kind of club and trajectory we want to use and what kind of spin we're going to end up getting off of that. So for this shot, I'm just going to hit my 54. And first thing in setup, which will be the next part, is setup. So in setup, what I'm looking for is my lead edge to aim right down towards where I'm trying to hit it. So I'm going to take that lead edge right there and point it directly towards my target, and I'm going to set that club up how I want to sit number one. So I set the club up first. Usually you'll see pros or any good player do this with their feet together or 1 foot in. I start with both feet together and I set the club how I want. Then once the club is set how I want it to sit with the lie angle or the lean of the shaft, then I can determine where I'm going to put my body. What we don't want to do is first come in and set our body and then move around and try to set the club. It's a little bit messy that way, so we want to keep it simple. So we set the club how we want it first. Could be a right hand you're holding the club, could be a left hand holding the club. Doesn't really matter. Get it set how you want it. Get the club, butt of the club to sit right there. Then you aim the butt of the club to the inside part of your left leg, right there. And then once we're there, get the grip on there, get our stance, and we get a nice posture. And we always want to be relaxed when we're pitching. Don't want to feel tension when we're pitching because we're not taking a very big swing most of the time, and tension is going to cause us to early release, and we don't want to do that. So nice, relaxed setup position. The other thing we want to do is those arms, just fall underneath our shoulders when we're setting up. And that gives us another way to help with the relaxation too. So set the club number one, get set up in there. Once we're set, weight distribution should be either centered, if not a touch to our lead side. And then the other thing is ball position will probably be somewhat centered to maybe slightly back in the stance, but it all depends on what kind of shot you're trying to hit, because you can hit a pitch shot with the ball forward in the stance also. That'll just make the shaft get more vertical and you end up using more bounce on the shot. If you got it in the rough, you probably want to move it back, get a little more forward shaft lean, and then that will allow you to hit more down on the ball with a steeper angle of attack. That'll give you a little bit more spin and pop you out of some difficult situations, or if you're in a bad lie, that helps as well. So for this shot, my ball's position is going to be pretty centered. I'm using an alignment stick for helping with aim up there. Stance can be square to slightly open depending on preferences. I do like seeing that lead foot flared out though. All right, so now that we're in our setup position, now from there it's just working that length of swing. So same length back, same length through is kind of what we're looking for. Holding the position, getting weight to transfer to the front side. When you're hitting a pitch shot, we're not trying to do it with a lot of push and force coming through. So your hands should stay right with our rotation. Hands are in front of the chest, hands are in front of the chest, hands are in front of the chest through that whole motion. So it's the rotation that helps create the finesse or the soft feel of our body. The more we push, the more that club is going to release, and it's going to be harder to get the downward angle of attack that we're looking for. So we're catching on the downswing rather than on the bottom of the swing or on the upswing. So when we're hitting this golf shot, make sure you're breathing. Make sure those arms are relaxed, the shoulders are relaxed, the hands are relaxed, the body's relaxed. As we're going through it, we're not trying to speed up the club, we're just trying to relax and go through and just try to hold position and just shift weight through the golf ball. So weight's pretty centered, and it's not going to do a whole lot of weight shift back, and it's just going to go back, through, pivot, hold, weight's off that back foot when we get done. So the next aspect of pitching that we need to get into, which is one of my favorite topics, and you guys know what it is, and that's footwork. So the footwork in pitching is a little bit quieter than our full swing motion, but at the same time it's very important to help make sure that our footwork is transferring weight the way we need it to, so that it helps to bottom out the club in front of the ball, not behind it, so that we get good contact and good spin on the ball. So sometimes it helps when you're practicing your pitching to stand on an alignment stick. It's really important to have good balance from toe to heel when we're moving in our pitch shots. So if you stand on the stick, what we want to feel is the weight shifting slightly towards the inside part of that right thigh or trail thigh, just inside that foot. The hip's not sliding out, it's staying inside that hip line. As we take it to the backswing, as we come through, a little weight transfer through that transition in our lower body. That left knee is just moving left, opening up the hips as we make the transition. Now the hands will start to release and then work through, and at that whole time, my weight staying right centered onto that stick all the way to the finish. Standing on a stick will allow you to maintain that feeling. And just like we've talked about in my past video of how to extend out of the heel, put that video up in the corner, help you guys train that lower body to press out of the heel. Really important when you're hitting those pitch shots, because we want to press through the heel to help with the extension coming down through the ball, so that we get nice light back foot when we get to finish. So another area I see a lot of problems with in pitching, and that is the way that we shift through the ball, moving into our lead side. What I see often happening is in the trail foot, and the trail foot will work backwards. You'll either sit on your back foot and not get through, and you'll sit back here, and your hips won't transfer to our lead side, or you'll see a spin in that back foot, which is a false way of feeling, okay, I got through, my hips are opening up, but the weight really hasn't gotten off that back foot. So what we want to see is you get through it, and the foot is pressing inward and then rolling up to where those knees are kissing. Doesn't have to fully get to the full finish with that foot. It's okay if it finishes back there, but we want to see those hips rotated all the way to the target, belly button to the target, and those knees coming together. And we want that transition of that foot happening onto that inside part of that foot, where you can see those shoelaces are rolling inward, and then it's rolling into that inside part of that toe, and then rolls up onto the toe edge where it's real light in that back foot. If you're having trouble with either of those moves, what I would suggest is grab a water bottle. It's about half filled, and we can do two different drills with this. One, which we've done in the past, is you get set up to the ball, and then you put that water bottle on the inside instep of your shoe, right where the shoelaces are. And then when we come into the ball, what I want to have happen is we knock that water bottle over as we make contact with the ball. Easy way to feel it, and then when you get to the finish, you can look down and go, okay, yeah, I knocked it over. It tells you your foot is internally rotating, and again, the need is to start working towards the target. The second drill is for all you golfers who spin on your back foot, and you're going to take that water bottle, and this time when you get set up, you're going to put it on the outside of those shoelaces there. And what we don't want to do is spin and knock over the water bottle. So our intentions will be to keep the water bottle vertical this time. So when we come into it, we're only pivoting towards the target, and it leaves the water bottle up. So try both of those drills if you're having trouble with that weight shift in the back foot, and this will instantly give you feedback to help you transition your footwork better. So the next topic we're gonna focus on with our pitching, which is one of probably the most important, and that is distance control. When we're hitting pitch shots, we want to be able to create a system of how we're going to determine how far we're going to hit the ball. And that system should be based on length of swing. And what we want to see is wherever we take their hands on this side, we take it the same length through. And I know a lot of golfers out there like the clock method. I think to me, I want to use something that's a little bit more feel oriented. So I try to feel where my hands go in my practice swing, and we're going to give you a drill to help with that. If you use the clock method, totally fine. Whatever works for you is great to create the system. So what we want to do is get out and practice, number one, and start feeling out different distances and understand the distance you're trying to hit it. So if you're sitting here with a 40-yard pitch shot, you can tell yourself, okay, my 40-yard pitch shot is here on the backswing, and then we're going to take it there on the follow through. So whatever's the back, we take it the same length through. So if it's a little bit, you're going 50 yards, you might be here. You're going 60, it might be there. You're going 80, it might be up here. So coming up with a system of lengths of how far you're going to take the club back and matching it with the tempo and the distance coming through will make it so when you get on the golf course, you'll be like, okay, 50 yards, there to there. Now I'm ready to hit that golf shot. You already have a plan of how far you're going to take it back, and it's just a feel from there. So the next thing is, how do you come up with a method to help with tempo, number one, and then also with the distance control. So this method, we'll call it the finesse drill, and it's a great pre-shot routine drill to do, and you see a lot of players do this in their pre-shot routine when they're hitting pitch shots. So what we want to do is just get set up away from the ball, and we're just going to take the club back the length you think you should be taking it, and then go through, and then back, and then through, and then back, and then through. So you'll try to make like 3 or 4 different swings consecutively without stopping, and this will give you the sense of not pushing through the golf shot, because your hands will probably come there. It'll take some of that tension away, because you have to keep flowing back and through when you're doing this, and it creates a nice pendulum action, and it's going to keep you very centered in your weight as well. So if we do this in your pre-shot routine, it's just do 3 back swings. So just go back that far, back that far, through that far, back that far, through that far, and you're just feeling it out each time. So when you come into the golf shot, you're like, okay, I'm going to try to just copy that feeling of back that far and through that far, and then what will end up happening is you'll start feeling, hopefully feeling that same rhythm and timing and tempo, and you'll create more flow in there as well. So it's not, you're not doing this stiff, and you'll start feeling the difference. If you have been practicing or hitting pitch shots in a stiff feeling, this will make your pitching improve very quickly, because we need to have a nice soft feel in our body. Tension is the killer to our flow in our golf swing, and tension, like holding your breath, tight muscles, is all translating into a lot of the bad habits we get from early release, trying to control with the arms, trying to hit it with the arms and the shoulders. All that comes from a lot of tension in the body. So we're trying to get rid of tension. So this finesse drill of just letting the arms flow back and through, back and through, not stopping, and through, just get to the, up to your shot, and just try to flow back through, back and through, just like you just did, and that will give you a great pre-shot to playing method when you get out on the golf course. So I hope this video helped. If you got anything out of it, think about hitting that like button. If you like watching some of these videos, think about hitting that subscribe button. You don't want to miss anything coming up into the future. And remember, if your feet aren't working, your swing's not working. Catch you guys next time.